Good morning and most welcome to Heidegger 1310 of the series. And today I will venture into neurology and science of cognition. We were speaking the other lecture about the almost revolutionary insights of Richard Nisbet. There are things to be added to this, and they have connection to how our cognitive functions work and how our body work. And the first article I will read try to during the lecture. It's a special issue and it's about how posture affects memory recall and mood. There is a bunch of scientists here, but I will mention the first one that is a bit famous, Erik Peper. This is from the abstract. Body posture reflects emotional states. And this study investigates the effects of posture sitting in a slouched or upright position on recall of either negative, hopeless, helpless, powerless or defeated memories, or positive, empowered or optimistic memories. "216 college students sat in either a slouched or an erect position while recalling negative memories, and then in a second step recalling positive memories. They then sat in the opposite body position while recalling negative and then positive memories. 86% of the students reported that it was easier to recall, access negative memories in the collapsed position than in the erect position. And 87% of the students reported that it was easier to recall, access positive images in the erect position than in the collapsed position. Participants who reported being most depressed over the previous 2 years reported significantly more recall of negative memories in both the slouch position and erect position. For those who were most depressed, there were no differences in recalling positive memories. we recommend that therapists teach clients posture awareness and to sit more upright in the office and at home as a strategy to increase positive effect and decrease depression. Background, a little quote from a student. When I sat collapsed looking down, negative memories flooded me, and I found it difficult to shift and think of positive memories. While sitting erect, I found it easier to think of positive memories. Student participant. The link between posture and mood is embedded in idiomatic phrases such as walking tall, standing proud, and an upstanding citizen versus collapsed, defeated, or in a slump. This language suggests that posture and mood are connected. Slumped posture is commonly observed in depression, and adapting an upright posture increases positive effect, reduces fatigue, and increases energy in people with mild to moderate depression. Most psychotherapists and psychotherapies tend to focus on the mind component of the body-mind relationship. On the other hand, exercise and posture focus on the body component of the mind-body relationship. Physical activity in general has been demonstrated to improve mood, and exercise has been successfully used to treat depressions with lower recidivism rates than pharmaceuticals such as sertraline. Although the role of exercise as a treatment strategy for depression has been accepted, the role of posture is not usually included in cognitive behavior therapy or biofeedback or neurofeedback therapy. hormone levels also changed in a collapsed posture. For example, 2 minutes of standing in a collapsed position significantly decreased testosterone and increased cortisol as compared to a power posture, which significantly increased testosterone and decreased cortisol while standing. As Cuddy pointed out in Technology, Entertainment and Design Talk, TED, by changing posture, you not only present yourself differently to the world around you, you actually change your hormones. Wilkes et al. And Peper and Lynn have suggested a link between posture, emotions, and cognitions that describes the importance of postural interventions to counter symptoms of depression and low energy. Peper and Lind demonstrated that if people tried skipping rather than walking in a slouch posture, subjective energy after the exercise was significantly higher. Among the participants who had reported the highest level of depression during the past 2 years, there was a significant decrease of subjective energy when they walked in slouch position compared with those who reported a low level of depression. Earlier, Wilson and Peper demonstrated that in a collapsed posture, students more easily accessed hopeless, powerless, defeated, and other negative memories as compared to memories accessed in an upright position. More recently, Tsai, Peper, and Lin show that when participants sat in a collapsed position, evoking positive thoughts required more brain activation, that is, greater mental effort, compared to that required when walking in an upright position. The purpose of this study is to expand on our observations with more than 3,000 students and workshop participants. We observed that body posture and position affects recall of emotional memory, and a history of self-described depression appears to affect the recall of either positive or negative memories. Method. 216 college students with an average age of 24.6 years participated in a regularly planned classroom demonstration regarding the relationship between posture and mood. As an evaluation of a classroom activity, this report of findings was exempted from institutional review board oversight. Procedure. While sitting in class, students fill out a short, anonymous questionnaire which asks them to rate their history of depression over the last 2 years. Their level of depression and energy at this moment, and how easy it was for them to change their moods and energy levels on a scale from 10 to 1. The students also rated the extent they became emotionally absorbed or captured by their positive or negative memory recall. Half of the students were asked to rate how they sat in front of their computer, tablet, or mobile device on a scale from 1, sitting upright, to 10, completely slouched. 2 different sitting postures were clearly defined for participants: slouched, collapsed, and erect upright, as shown in figure 1. To assume the collapsed position, they were asked to slouch and look down while slightly rounding the back. For the erect position, they were asked to sit upright with a slight arch in their back while looking upward. After experiencing both postures. Half the students sat in the collapsed position, while the other half sat in the upright position. While in this position, they were asked to recall, evoke as many hopeless, helpless, powerless, or defeated memories as possible, one after the other, for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, they were reminded to keep their same position and let go of thinking negative memories. They were then asked to recall, evoke only positive, optimistic, or empowering memories for 30 seconds. The participants were then asked to switch positions. Those who were collapsed switched to sitting erect, and those who were erect switched to sitting collapsed. Then they were again asked to recall, evoke as many hopeless, helpless, powerless, or defeated memories as possible, one after the other, for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, they were reminded to keep their same position and again let go of thinking of negative memories. They were then asked to recall, evoke only positive, optimistic, or empowering memories for 30 seconds. While still retaining the second posture. The participants then rated their subjective experience in recalling negative or positive memories and the degree to which they were absorbed or captured by the memories in each position, and in which position it was easier to recall positive or negative experiences. Results. Among the participants, 86% reported that it was easier to recall, access negative memories in the collapsed position than in the erect position, which was significantly different as determined by one-way analysis of variance. and 87% of participants reported that it was easier to recall access positive images in the erect position than in the collapsed position, which was significantly different as determined by one-way analysis of variance. The difficulty or ease of recalling negative or positive memories varied depending on position, as shown in figure 3 of the compendium. The participants with a high level of depression over the last 2 years reported that it was significantly more difficult to change their mood from negative to positive than was reported by those with a low level of depression. It was significantly easier for more depressed students to recall, evoke negative emotions in the collapsed posture and in the upright posture, and no significant difference in recalling positive memories in either posture, as shown in figure 4. For all participants, there was a significant correlation between subjective energy level and ease with which they could change from negative to positive mood. There were no significant differences for gender in all measures, except that male reported a significantly higher energy level than females. A subset of students also rated their posture when sitting in front of a computer or using a digital device, tablet or cell phone, on a scale from 1, upright, to 10, completely slouched. The students with the highest levels of depression over the last 2 years reporting slouching significantly more than those lowest level of depression over the last 2 years. There were no other order effects except of accessing fewer negative memories in the collapsed posture after accessing positive memories in the erect posture. approximately half of the students who also rated being captured by their positive or negative memories were significantly more captured by negative memories in the collapsed posture than in the erect posture, and were significantly more captured by positive memories in the erect posture than in the collapsed. Discussion. Posture significantly influenced access to negative and positive memory recall, and confirms the report by Wilson and Peper. The collapsed slouch position was associated with significantly easier access to negative memories. This is a useful clinical observation because ruminating on negative memories tends to decrease subjective energy and increase depressive feelings. When working with clients to change their cognitions, especially in the treatment of depression, the posture may affect the outcome. Thus, therapists should consider posture retraining as a clinical intervention. This would include teaching clients to change their posture in the office and at home as a strategy to optimize access to positive memories and thereby reduce access or fixation on negative memories. Thus, if one is in a negative mood, then slouching could maintain this negative mood, while changing body posture to an erect posture would make it easier to shift to a positive mood. Physiologically, an erect body posture allows participants to breathe more diaphragmatically because the diaphragm frame has more space for descent. It is easier for participants to learn slower breathing and increased heart rate variability while sitting erect as compared to collapsed. The collapsed position also tends to increase neck and shoulder symptoms. This position is often observed in people who work at the computer or are constantly looking at their cell phones. A position sometimes labeled as the I-neck. In most biofeedback and neurofeedback training sessions, posture is not assessed, and clients sit in a comfortable chair, which automatically causes a slouch position. Similarly, at home, most clients sit on an easy chair or couch, which let them slouch as they watch TV or surf the web. Finally, most people slouch when looking at their cell phone, tablet, or the computer screen. They usually only become aware of the slouching when they experience neck, shoulder, or back discomfort. Clients and therapists are usually not aware that a slouch posture may decrease the client's energy level and increase the prevalence of a negative mood. Thus, we recommend that therapists incorporate posture awareness and training to optimize access to positive imagery and increase energy. So that was the end of that. There will be a link to this one in the description, and I will continue. I can take some coffee actually. And I will now continue with the second one, which is from Acta Psychologica. It is a bit more complicated. Embodiment: as I sat, I felt, I performed. Posture effects on mood and cognitive performance, by Sarah Awad, Tobias, Debatin, and Ziegler. Abstract. Previous embodiment findings indicate a relationship between physical posture and mood states, suggesting upright posture induce positive mood states. Findings also showed a relationship between moods and cognitive performance. while positive mood states were found to be related to increased processing speed, negative mood states were associated with higher processing accuracy in cognitive task performance. This implies that posture may affect the aforementioned sub-aspects of cognitive performance via mood states. Additionally, most studies on posture effects rely on explicit posture manipulation. With that in mind, our research explores the effects of implicitly manipulated postures on processing speed and accuracy, and whether these effects are mediated by general mood. The results revealed that subjects in our sample who adopted an upright posture showed a more positive general mood and higher processing speed compared to those in stooped posture. Surprisingly, no differences in processing accuracy were found. There was no evidence of the proposed mediation in our data. Introduction. In the past decades, the approach of embodied cognition has emerged, assigning the body a pivotal role as a major factor in cognitive processes. Contrary to non-embodied computational approaches in cognitive science, the assumption is that bodily cues and cognitive processes are deeply rooted in each other. Thus, the body is much more than an influencing factor. It is regarded as an essential element in the formulation of cognition. Indeed, its significance is already supported by strong scientific evidence attesting to the value of the body and its action to cognitive processes and affective states. While a noticeable part of these empirical studies did recently examine the effects of posture on feelings and attitudes, comparatively fewer studies have investigated the effects of posture on cognitive task performance. Additionally, most studies on posture effects used explicit posture manipulation. Further, the mechanism underlying a possible association between posture and cognitive performance remain unclear. Hence, the first goal of this study was to confirm the relatively established effects of postural positions on mood, using an implicit manipulation. Second, we want to further investigate the rather uncertain effects of posture on cognitive task performance. And third, we wanted to examine whether effects on task performance are mediated by mood states. Relation of posture and mood. Various findings suggest a reciprocal relationship between mood and posture. For example, it was found that students adopted a comparatively more stooped posture after receiving negative feedback compared to positive feedback. Findings regarding mood effects on posture are further supported by research indicating that affective states are communicated via posturing. Colson and Ekman found that subjects evaluating drawings of varied head and spine postures rated drawings of erect postures more positively than drawings of slumped postures. Moreover, slumped postures are associated with negative mood states in clinical contexts. Moreover, slumped postures are associated with negative mood states in clinical contexts. In the 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, in fact, a stoop posture is a physical criterion in the diagnosis of patients experiencing a major depressive episode. Nonetheless, there is a growing body of research suggesting that physical cues may precede mood-related experiences. Similar findings were also presented in a more recent study by Nair et al., in which participants in the slumped condition reported feeling more nervous and stressed compared to those sitting in an upright position. In line with these observations, it was also discovered that accessing positive thoughts appears to be easier in upright rather than in stooped posture. Reminiscent of William James's influential work, the latter suggests that the experience of feelings may be rooted in physical actions and not vice versa. The term body feedback is often associated with these experiences. It describes feedback of the entire body, during which information is transferred from the body to the brain and thus to the cognitive and psychological processing system. The majority of the existing literature on body feedback focuses on facial feedback processes, also referred to as the facial feedback hypothesis. For instance, limited flexibility of facial expression by the use of botulinum toxin resulted in limitations of experienced sensitivity. In consideration of feedback processes that emanate from the face and from the whole body, findings indicate that postures connect to feelings and attitudes. A study by Stepper and Strack revealed that, compared to the subjects in a slouched body condition, participants who were seated in an upright position reported feeling significantly more pride after positive feedback on performance. Additionally, a recent study linked upright postures with experiences of higher self-esteem, increased arousal, and more positive mood, less fear, and fewer negative words. In a 2010 study, Carney compared expansive with contractive postures and found the former to be related to an increase in testosterone, decrease in cortisol, increase in subjective feelings of power, as well as a higher risk-taking behavior. However, in a subsequent replication attempt, only the effects of subjective feelings of power were replicated, but no effects in neuroendocrine levels or behavior could be found. Followed with a narrative review comparing 33 studies on expansive versus contractive postures. In their review, they outlined that expansive postures increase subjective feelings of power, whereas contractive postures might manifest in rather negative distortions, such as lower levels of confidence associated with feelings of failure and depressive thoughts. However, P-curve analysis have raised doubts about the empirical evidence of power posing on which the 2015 review was based. Countering these concerns, Cuddy et al. Submitted an updated collection of 55 studies on posture effects to P-curve analysis. Providing evidence for both postural feedback effects on subjective feelings of power and on other emotional and affective states. Taken together, the studies outlined herein largely support the conclusion, while upright postures may be associated with more positive moods, stooped postures may be associated with more negative moods. Mood effects on cognitive performance. There are indications that even small changes in mood states affect cognitive processes, rendering mood essential toward a thorough understanding of cognition. Nonetheless, earlier work suggests that opposing predictions can be made about the effects of mood states on cognitive performance relative to cognitive task type. For example, regarding creative thinking tasks, it has been found that a positive mood can have broadening effects on attention, leading to the exploration and processing of supposedly irrelevant information that can be used for solving a given task. Findings also suggests that positive mood states are associated with a faster and more heuristic approach to information processing than that of negative mood states. In a study by Park and Banerjee, subjects in a positive mood state showed greater reliance on heuristics. Consistent with these findings, literature on response inhibition shows that subjects in positive emotional contexts have a shorter reaction time than subjects in negative emotional contexts. Positive moods might only have beneficial effects on certain types of tasks, and at the same time may result in increased distraction. This might lead to positive moods negatively influencing tasks that require clear focus, as is the case with most tasks on executive functions. Concerning negative moods, the literature proposes that negative mood states might have enhancing effects on analytical thinking and focused processing. A possible explanation for mood effects suggests that affective states play an informative role. Indeed, it might be the case that positive moods are associated with a feeling of safety, and negative moods reflect a potential threatening situation to the individual. Just give me a second here, I'll continue. So sorry about that. Researchers also consider that these mechanisms might have an evolutionary background. For example, in a safe environment, the individual may experience a lack of pressure to initiate changes, allowing for more general and heuristic processes, and enabling the individual to consider a greater variety of actions. In contrast, experiencing the feeling of facing a threatening situation initiates analytical thought processes. Through analytical thought processes, possibilities for action can be narrowed and focus can be placed on the task at hand in order to solve a given problem as quickly as possible. Posture effects on cognitive performance and mediation via mood. Given the outlined findings of posture on mood and mood on cognitive performance, it seems reasonable to conclude that there should also be a relationship between cognitive performance and posture. Scholars detected beneficial effects of upright versus stooped postures on mood and on psychomotor speed. Participants in upright sitting conditions performed faster in a reading task than participants in a stooped condition. In a study by Risklin and Gauthier, all participants received false positive feedback for a task. One half sitting in an upright posture, the other in a stooped posture. Those in an upright posture showed more persistence in a subsequent standard learned helplessness task than those who received feedback in a stooped posture. Yet, contrary to the study by Nair, no effects of posture on mood-related variables were identified in the 1982 study. Further, a later study attributes the effects of posture on subsequent task persistence to underlying interaction effects of posture and feedback. These findings were later replicated in a study by Ahn et al., in which the participants performed a task on a movable desktop computer that manipulated their posture. Although effects of posture on performance would be expected from a theoretical point of view, to our knowledge, there are few studies exploring such effects. Based on outlined research suggesting effects of posture on mood and mood on cognitive performance, along with research indicating possible effects of posture on performance, we predicted posture would influence cognitive performance. Mediated by mood states. Current study. The literature suggests that upright postures appear to induce positive mood states, whereas stooped postures are associated with negative mood states. These results, however, are not yet conclusively established, and with rare exceptions, mostly relate to studies that used an explicit manipulation of posture. To avoid explicit knowledge of the manipulation in our study, and in order to get the participants to adopt a certain posture, we modify the height of desks and chairs prior to testing. Furthermore, concerning effects of mood states on cognitive task performance, previous research supports the hypothesis of beneficial effects of positive mood on processing speed, as well as facilitating effects of negative mood on processing accuracy. Taken together, all of these findings of postural effects on mood states and of mood states on cognitive task performance led to our estimation that subjects in upright postures would show higher processing speed, whereas subjects in stoop postures would perform better on processing accuracy. In other words, we hypothesized that effects on posture, on cognition, are mediated by mood states. Method. "83 students attending Friedrich Alexander University in Nürnberg participated in the experiment. One participant reported having used amphetamines. He claimed he had been awake for 27 hours at the time the experiment was conducted. He was excluded from our analysis. The majority of participants listed German as their first language. Procedure. Within the framework of university seminars, participants were invited by the experimenter to contribute to a study of concentration. Previous studies on embodiment effects have shown that informing subjects about the actual background of the study may lead to an absence of effects. Therefore, participants were told a cover story relating that the study would measure ability to concentrate. All participants gave their written consent for the experimental procedure and were debriefed concerning the study purpose at the end of the trial. Within each seminar, half of the participants were randomly assigned to the upright posture condition while the other half was assigned to the stooped posture condition. First, participants were instructed to fill out a privacy statement, as well as a questionnaire on general personal information. That is to say, the subjects were already in the manipulated posture for about 5 minutes before they started working on the cognitive task. After receiving instruction, participants completed a cognitive task assessing processing speed and accuracy. Participants then completed the questionnaire on their current mood states. Finally, they were asked to rate the degree of erectness of their own posture during testing on a 1 stooped to 5 upright scale. Physical posture modification. The aim of posture modification was to achieve as natural a manipulation as possible. One that would not draw the participant's attention to his or her own posture. Therefore, we manipulated participants' posture by changing the relation of height adjustable desks and chairs prior to testing. For the group in the upright condition, the desks were adjusted relatively high and the chairs comparatively low. In the group assigned to a stooped sitting posture, the manipulation was carried out in the reverse, causing the participants to sit in a bent position. The dimensions given represent the height of the chair without the lowering that results from the suspension when one person is sitting on the chair. Accordingly, with the person seated on the chair, it lowers by a few centimeters. To determine these heights, we proceeded as follows. The majority of students on our campus are females between the ages of 20 and 25. According to the data of the German Federal Statistical Office, women in Germany between the ages of 20 and 25 are on an average 1.68 meters tall. We then adjusted the manipulation on the basis of a female student of this height. When entering the room, the experimenter instructed the participants not to change anything in the conditions, as the prerequisites had to be identical for all assessments. Processing speed and accuracy. Participants were asked to work on the D2R test of attention, a revised German version of the D2 test of attention. The D2R is a paper and pencil letter cancellation test that combines both the measurements of processing speed and accuracy in cognitive task performance. It consists of 14 rows, each of which has a total sequence of 57 characters. The letters are marked with dashes that can occur in pairs, individually, above and or below the characters. The number of dashes for each character ranges from 1 to 4. Participants are instructed to move from left to right and cancel out as many Ds marked with a total of 2 dashes, regardless of whether these are both above or below, or 1 dash above and 1 dash below the letter D. Participants are allotted 20 seconds time for each row. After 20 seconds, participants received an instruction from the test leader to proceed immediately with the processing of the next line. Subjects are instructed to perform as quickly but also as accurately as possible. scoring for processing speed and accuracy was done according to test instructions. Therefore, processing speed was measured by the number of processed items, ignoring whether target symbols or distractors had been cancelled out. Accuracy was evaluated with a percentage value, which resulted from the number of errors divided by the number of items processed. Cronbach's alpha was 0.96 for processing speed and 0.92 for processing accuracy. Mood state. Mood state was assessed with a short German language version of the multidimensional mood state questionnaire. The measured dimensions of the MDMQ are composed of 3 4-item scales that evaluate degrees of 1. Overall well-being, 2. Fatigue, 3. Tension. Participants rated the 12 items on a 1 not at all to 5 extremely scale. Analysis of the MDMQ in a representative German sample revealed high correlations between the 3 subscales and indicated that a general mood scale consisting of the sum of the 12 items is appropriate. This scale also proved to be more reliable than the subscales. Our results confirmed these findings, while there was a strong first principal component explaining 47% of the variance. The Cronbach's alpha of general mood scale was 0.89. We use this general mood scale for our analysis. Mediation analysis. we hypothesized that general mood would mediate the effects of posture on the dependent variables processing speed and accuracy. To find evidence for mediation, the following 4 steps developed by Barron and Kenny were tested. Step 1. The independent variable is related to the dependent variable. Step 2. The independent variable is related to the mediator. Step 3. The mediator is related to the dependent variable while the independent variable is held constant. Step 4. The independent variable is not related to the dependent variable anymore when controlling for the mediator. In experiments, all of the first 3 steps should ideally be met to establish evidence for mediation. For complete mediation, step 4 is also required. We also considered effect sizes since judgments concerning mediation should not be based on statistical significance alone. Preliminary analysis. All values for our main variables were in the expected range, and none were more than 3.5 s above or below the respective means of the variables, with the exception of one data point that was 3.9 SDs above the average error percentage processing accuracy. We carefully monitored how this data point influenced our results and calculated Cook's distances to detect problematic influence of single data points on our findings. All of these values fell well below the suggested problematic threshold of 1. There were no missing values in our main variables of general mood, processing speed, and processing accuracy. Mediation analysis. Steps 1 and 2 of the aforementioned steps procedure of a mediation analysis according to Barron and Kenny were already tested with a previously reported independent sample t-tests. On the processing speed, steps 1 and 2 were confirmed as there were considerable effects of posture on the processing speed. The dependent variable and on general mood, the assumed mediator. For testing steps 3 and 4, processing speed was regressed on the independent variable posture and the assumed mediator general mood. Step 3 was not confirmed as a general mood, was not related to the processing speed, as step 3 is a necessary condition for mediation. There was no evidence for mediation by general mood. Concerning processing accuracy, there was no effect of posture on processing accuracy as reported earlier. Therefore, step 1 of the mediation analysis was not confirmed. Step 2 was confirmed as indicated by the effect of posture on general mood. Step 3 was not confirmed as general mood was not related to processing accuracy. The results confirm effects of posture on mood states from previous studies, this time using naturally modified postures. Second, as hypothesized. Subjects in upright postures also showed higher processing speed compared to subjects in stooped postures. Predicated effects of posture on processing accuracy, however, were clearly not revealed. Additionally, we found no effect on general mood on processing accuracy in the mediation analysis. Hence, for processing accuracy, the hypothesized mediation could not be identified. although effects of posture on general mood and processing speed were revealed, general mood was not associated with processing speed. There was not even an indication of minor tendency. Consequently, no evidence of mediation could be found in our results. Regarding processing accuracy, previous work suggested subjects in negative mood states are more focused on the task at hand. However, in our experiment, there was no indication of such effects. We suggest different possible explanations for these results. One reason might be that previous work predicating beneficial effects of negative mood states based on their informative function have mostly argued to find enhanced analytical thinking and problem solving. Due to differences in analytical thinking and processing accuracy, it may therefore be conceivable that findings in terms of analytical thinking cannot simply be applied to processing accuracy as measured in the D2R. As we have found posture effects on processing speed, but no evidence for mediation by general mood, we consider other possible mediators to explain these results. For example, the influence of posture on attitudes and metacognitive thinking may in turn affect cognitive performance. In a study by Stapper and Strack, participants who were seated in an upright posture reported feeling significantly more pride after positive performance-related feedback than subjects in a slouched posture. Furthermore, a study by Brignol et al. Found increased confidence in thought in participants in upright postures compared to those in stooped postures. The experience of power already made popular in the embodiment field is another possible mediator. Findings on power and cognitive processing support the effects of power on processing speed. Further, when comparing expansive and contractive postures, revealed an increase in the subjective feeling of power in individuals adapting expansive postures through changes in neuroendocrine profiles. Like previous findings on testosterone and cortisol levels in people high in power, Abbott et al. Identified an increase in testosterone and a decrease in cortisols in individuals in expansive versus contractive postures. Taken together, the subjective feeling of power and its reinforcement through neuroendocrine changes could, instead of mood function as a mediator. The literature elaborates further on psychological changes associated with a change in posture. Subjects in upright postures specifically are linked to higher arousal, increased pulse pressure, heart rate, and temperature. Such influencing factors might also be examined for possible mediation. Another explanation for our results includes a rather unstable general posture performance relation. In other words, we cannot rule out the possibility that no effects on posture on cognitive performance exists in general. More studies would be required to investigate this further. I think I have to leave the conclusion and my own take on the whole thing a bit later. But it's a fascinating thing here with the illustrations. And please do have a look at the young lady sitting by the writing desk. Do you think that the upright posture is a good one? That's my question. I say thank you very much and do have a very pleasant afternoon. Bye bye for now.